Hello, people. Welcome to Choco Millionaire. So, some few days ago, the IRCC, which is Canada's Immigration Commission, made an announcement, and it wasn't what a lot of international students were hoping for. But sadly, Canada's Immigration Commission has decided to make a drastic reduction to the international student enrollment. That means that visa approvals are going to be going down by a percentage of 35% there. Today, we're going to make sense of it. And to do that, I have somebody who is a familiar face on this platform, Matt McClellan, who is the CEO of HAP. Some of you have already gotten some good news through HAP, thanks to Matt and his guys at HAP. Matt, welcome to another edition of Choco Millionaire.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Happy to have you, Matt. So when the news came, I was actually sitting somewhere around here preparing to do a video related to something like this, but not exactly the same title. And then it came. It really shook me. When the news came to you, what exactly were you doing? If you don't mind, before we go into your opening remarks, what exactly were you doing when the news came to you?
Yeah, well, we first heard a little bit about a memo that got leaked on Saturday, and I was at a cottage doing a hike outside, and so I was kind of a little bit shook. Took me out of what I was doing and got us starting to think about, what does this all mean and what's going on, which I know we'll talk about, but certainly was a bit of a surprise given what had been said previously. But, I think we have a good path forward, and hopefully we can help people understand what's going on.
Beautiful. When that news came, just before that, I also got news of the memo through Toronto Stars. So I was actually reviewing that and preparing to do a video. And then the major announcement actually came. So it caught a lot of people by surprise. Matt, I want to take your opening remarks or your opening statement about the whole news. What are your opening comments about the news itself, the announcement? Just bear with me there. It looks like we have a little bit of a delay there. I'm not sure if Matt can hear me. But Matt, if you can hear me, I'm asking for your opening remarks regarding the policy, if you can hear me.
I just heard you. Sorry, I think there's some internet connectivity issues. Yeah. I can hear you now.
Beautiful. Your opening remarks, Matt, about the policy. Your opening message in the face of the news. Your opening message.
Or give me one sec. I'm going to try to...
All right, guys. Sorry about that. Matt is probably going to try getting his connection issue resolved, and then he's going to hop on here. So for those who are watching, today's the first time watching, Matt is a CEO of HAP. HAP is a major educational consultancy firm that operates across multiple countries located in Canada, and they do help international students to study in Canada. If you're also already in Canada and you already have your student visa, but then you are looking to switch from your current school to another school and you're having a hard time getting into a school, by now it's quite difficult getting to a lot of schools now because of the volume of interest, isn't it? So if you're having that difficulty and you like HAP to kind of take that burden off of you and help you get an admission into your new school of choice, please reach out to HAP. I have already attached in the description box of this very video a link for students who are already in Canada and are looking to transfer or to switch to another school. All right. So I think I have Matt back here. Matt, can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
So sorry about that, Matt. Glad to have you. Let's hop into it before I start losing you again.
Yes.
So Matt,
yes. No, we're all good now. We're having some connectivity issues, but I think we're good.
Beautiful. I'd like to take your opening message in the face of this news.
Absolutely. On the headlines, I think it seems a little bit daunting. Overall, what we've learned, and we will get into the nuances, we work with source country embassies, our government, and the IRCC who process study permits, as well as the schools themselves. And we've been talking with them and trying to understand what's going on. With that said, overall, I think it's a really great time if you are a highly qualified student that's interested in skilled trades, healthcare, specifically nursing, PSW, or master's programs in Canada. Those pathways are still open. Schools are more excited than ever to review those applications, and actually you'll be up against less people overall. And if you're a student that falls outside of that category, so maybe you're interested in an undergrad or a diploma or a certificate, not in nursing or skilled trades, the pipelines are still open. You are able to submit applications to schools, and then we will be in the queue when the study permits open back up and the provinces build their processes for attestation. So overall, what we're seeing right now is that if you are somebody in that first category I mentioned, which we will talk about, it is a really advantageous time to apply. Canada and the schools are still welcoming, large numbers of highly qualified students outside of that cap as well. So I think it's good if that kind of fits who you are.
Great. If you're a highly qualified student looking to move to Canada, this might be the right time. I've kind of been sounding this alarm for a long while now, saying that there will be massive changes. So we are not surprised that the changes came eventually, just that a lot of people thought it came a little bit early. But Matt just mentioned, if you're a highly qualified applicant looking to move to Canada, this might be the right time to do so, especially if you're in those fields like the health sciences and all of that, right? So take steps and make sure you're actually connecting with HAP so that they can put you through with the sign up. I've included all the links for you to sign up, whichever your status is. If you're outside of Canada, or if you're in Canada looking to transfer or switch, it's all there in the description box. Make sure you're using that. Now, I'd like you to also do me a favor. Give this video a thumbs up. It helps other people to find conversations like this going on. So make sure you use the thumb up button there to hit the thumb up. Drop your comments as well. I also will encourage you to share this video in all of your WhatsApp groups, the social media platform. You know why? Because today we have an expert, somebody who is licensed to kind of give you updates regarding the trend of education. This is an expert right here. Make sure you are not missing anything. We're going to discuss everything around this new policy and the different ways you can actually go with it. First of all, how to make sense of it and how you can actually position yourself to actually take the next bold step. Matt, to my next question. So the first thing I did was to kind of check and see what schools were going to do in terms of their updates on their websites, because when this policy came, even though it is, I think there were a lot of gray areas, and it also created a lot of confusions. A lot of schools are kind of adopting a posture of not commenting too much about it. They're kind of waiting to see what the government will say. But the confusion around this, how do we clarify this? If we can clarify this announcement, can you help us to clarify all of this?
Absolutely. And here's the thing. We've had an announcement. There are still information that's coming out and we're still learning, right? And so there's a couple things to understand. It's the federal government that is capping the number of the study permits, but it's the provincial, which Canada is divided into like individual provinces where there are schools in each of them, right? And the provinces have to come up with policy to help with this. So basically what has happened is the government has said 364,000 study permits will be the cap this year for the programs that fall under that, which means that each province is going to get their own allocated amount. So a province, for example, would be Ontario. And then they're going to have to figure out how to divide that up amongst all the schools in that province. And then what's the process of getting the attestation letter when you apply? That all sounds really confusing. Pretty much what we need to understand is that there are programs right now that operate outside of the cap that are open and that are taking applications and that study permits can go forward for, which are master's levels program, any program under a master's level, and then skilled trade and nursing, because the government is saying, these are the types of students we need to fill the jobs that we have, labor gaps of right now in the economy. So at the school level, they're probably waiting to hear at the institutional level, what is the province going to say about the process to get an attestation form? And then what does that mean for us in our allocation? However, in the meantime, for the programs that don't fall under that capped number, it's a really, really great time to apply. There are a couple of other nuances that we need to go through because the cap is just the first part. The PPP schools, so the schools that are curriculum licensed agreements from public colleges in Ontario, no longer have post-grad work permit eligibility. This can be confusing. It's not always easy to tell if the campus you are at is a licensed curriculum school or not. This is why it's important to work with somebody or understand people that know the landscape that can walk you through what that means, because some people don't know that they're at a PPP campus and that they're no longer going to be able to stay and work afterwards. We can help you switch from a PPP college to one that is not, and that where you still will get post-grad work permit eligibility so you can stay and work in the right area. That's really important. The second thing is that renewals and extensions. So if you're a student that's already in Canada and you're either at a PPP campus, or you're just at a school that you'd like to switch, or you're just finishing up, or you've been working for a year, but you want to apply for extended studies, okay? That is not part of the cap, and the study permits are being processed for those. So for the things that aren't in the cap, which once again is any master's program, nursing, skilled trades, and then renewals and extensions of people in the country, you will have better likelihood of getting the study permit and faster kind of like decision period and approval processing, because they're not going to be looking at all the people that are under the cap, which is undergrad, diploma, certificate. So it's a very advantageous time if that is what you're looking to do.
Great. If you are in a PPP school, and if I, like Matt mentioned, it's not even easy to figure it out, right? Sometimes when you go on the school's website, they don't state that explicitly. And on the IRCC website, it might not always come to some people easily. So, hey, this might be a great time for you to get involved with HALP and leave the rest of the job for them to do. They have all the institutions on the list. They know what is going on. They know what the new updates are, and they'll help you to navigate your study abroad journey right away. Matt, for an international student or prospective student, what does this mean to them?
Yeah. Yes. This is really important because there is a lot of, wrong and conflicting information out there. So it's, let's just try to set the record straight for what we know right now, because the announcement was on Monday. Obviously it's Friday now. For students that are not yet in Canada, that are applying to come to Canada for any master's level program, green light, keep applying. The schools are open. The study permit will be processed for you for any program at the master's level. Okay. If you've applied to a program either with help or not with help that's not at the master's, and you'd rather apply for the master's to keep moving forward, we can still help you with that. Second type of student, you're not yet in Canada, but you're targeting a nursing, personal support work, healthcare related program, or skilled trades. Green light. The schools are accepting the application. The study permits will be processed. Okay. So if you're right now in Nigeria or wherever you might be, and you're interested in those programs, definitely go forward and don't be discouraged. It's actually, you'll be up against a smaller pool of candidates. So it's a great time to apply. The third group, for students that are in Canada at a PPP campus or just in general, if you're looking to extend your studies, apply for more studies, or switch schools, renewals are also open right now. So that means we can help you switch and get a new LOA at a different institution that's a better fit for you, or to extend your studies. And that's just a study permit update that is open. So it's a green light for you as well. So for those three types of students, really, really great time. The last category, for students not yet in Canada that are applying for an undergraduate level, a diploma level, or a certificate level program that is not in nursing or skilled trades. So maybe business or IT or project management, something along those lines. These are the programs that we still need people for, and they just fall under the cap. So the schools are still accepting and processing the applications, but we can still move forward, get you accepted by the school. Then we will wait until they build their process for attestation forms, so that we're able to get an attestation form and go forward to the IRCC and apply for a study permit. So I would say it's like a yellow light. Basically, we should still apply and get in with the school, because they're going to still do first come, first serve for intakes. However, we won't be able to move forward with the study permit until the provinces have their process set up. The deadline for the process is March 31st. However, I'm hearing that Ontario and BC, that might be 2-3 weeks away. Some of the other provinces might be a little slower. That's, anecdotal, but you can still submit. Don't give up on the dream overall. Canada is still a great place to come to study, to get a post-grad work permit, and eventually follow a similar path to what Chorcor and many others have done. We're just navigating on the fly here with getting this attestation process and the allocation of the cap at a provincial level set up. So those are kind of the main things. So I'll just repeat it one more time, because it's really important. For students not yet in Canada who are targeting master's level programs, green light, go ahead as normal. For students not yet in Canada targeting nursing or skilled trade programs, green light, go ahead as normal. Any student in Canada that wants to switch their program or extend their program, green light, go ahead as normal. The last group, if you are not yet in Canada and you're applying for an undergrad or a diploma or a certificate level program that is not in skilled trades or nursing, yellow light. We can still apply, but we won't be able to submit the study permit until the province of the institution you've been accepted to has their process set up, which hopefully is in the next couple of months. So would still be realistic for September, possibly the summer.
All right. I'm pretty sure by now you guys have been able to figure out whether you are in the green light zone or the amber light zone. Whatever the situation is, Matt is telling you this is the right time to begin taking steps before it is too late. Ontario and BC, for those who are wondering, so the deadline for provinces to submit the application for the attestation is March ending. But Matt just dropped a big exclusive there. He said he's hearing through the grapevine that in the next 2 weeks or so, provinces like Ontario and British Columbia could be getting the attestations. And that means that if you're applying to these schools in these provinces or visas in these provinces, you could potentially be looking for it to wrap things up or get your attestations next week. All right. For other provinces, unfortunately, we may have to still where you can still start putting your applications together or get in touch with HAP and make sure that they cannot take over. You know, they give you free immigration lawyers there. And then hopefully when the other provinces get the clearance to actually go ahead, you get to submit. I know a lot of you are wondering right now. So it's a whole bunch of stuff. I know I'm in the green light zone. I'm in the amber light zone, blah, blah, blah. But Matt, I don't know which schools to apply to, or even if I were to come to HAP, I don't know where to start. Are there any specific schools that you consider to be great schools that fall into the category that students should kind of be targeting right now to put applications in?
Absolutely. And there are many options, and we will always work with you to find out what is the best option. Some students come to us with a school in mind. Some students are very program specific, but not so sure about the school. So some of the schools that we are interesting at the master's level right now, especially in healthcare programs, the University of Ottawa, Laurentian University, Trent University, Lakehead University, Concordia University at Edmonton. But there are other ones that are great fits at both the university and college level. The coaches at HELP will help you, figure out what is the best fit for me. It's just really important to know right now, the people most likely to be served first are the master's level program folks. It's still, if you're interested in business and different things, that's just the yellow light zone. But those are some schools that I think are strong, where there are master's level programs in areas like healthcare, where we can still submit study permits, and where we've had approval rates over 80% of students from West Africa, which is about double market rate. So that's starting to work well.
Beautiful. Did you just catch that? 80% approval rate for students coming from West Africa. And I know a lot of them are going to be my people there. Some of you are going to be coming out with your good news and testimonies, so we can celebrate it right here. I'm looking forward to that. All right, Matt, thanks so much. 80% approval rate for students coming from West Africa. Those of you who are going through HAP, this is a great time for you, especially having your immigration visa, immigration lawyers submitting your visas for you. I think that is an extremely good news there. Matt, before we move to the next question, I'd like to ask, so if students submitted or did submit the applications before the announcement, I imagine they wouldn't need to go through the attestation letter clearance, right?
Yeah, they haven't come out and actually said that yet. I'm not sure, because they said a lot of it is going to be grandfathered in, but then they also said effective immediately, we're not taking net new permits. So I read that to say, if you submitted a study permit application, or if you've applied to the school and you're waiting for an acceptance, or you've been accepted but you haven't yet applied for your study permit, if the school and the program you applied for is a master's level program and or it's healthcare or nursing, regardless of level, my understanding right now is that you can still move forward and submit a study permit application. If it's outside of that and your permit is in processing, I don't think you're going to be penalized for this, because you didn't know that the announcement was coming. But I'm not sure how they're going to handle those cases. Usually, the IRCC is good to communicate with. They'll put something out to help people understand. The lawyer or the immigration consultant, or if you applied direct, there should be some communication. But I don't know exactly what it means at this time for everybody that has a permit that is in processing, because they kind of have made it sound like we're not shut down, but we're not taking anybody new. And I think they're still working through people that applied before the announcement, right? But I don't know for sure. We're still trying to get clarity on that. Once again, the announcement was 4 days ago, so we're still trying to understand what it means. But hold tight. There will be more comms coming, and we will just learn our way through that. But for people that have not yet submitted the study permit, we can still figure out the best path forward based on the institution, the program level, and where you're at in the enrollment process.
Great. Matt, with some programs likely to be affected by the new policy, it's overall, we look forward to seeing a massive reduction, probably even a lower approval rate, especially if you're using unqualified persons to do your application for you, like ghost agents, or taking the risks on and do your own thing and having no idea what you do. If there is any better time to actually use experts, I think this is about now. Yes. Why is Hub the number one platform or the group that somebody should be going to right now to kind of take all this burden off of them?
Yeah, you're bang on. The proper advice and proper incentives in a support is more important right now than ever because of the changing landscape. Why we think that we are best positioned to serve the right type of candidate is that, one, we're located in Canada. We have relationships with the government. We know what they're looking for. We have relationships with the schools. We know what they're looking for. So when you're working through your onboarding process and your verification process with help, we can understand how you match to what they're like kind of recruiting for in the country and at the school level. So we can give you the right advice on institution, on program, on intake, based on your criteria and theirs. The second piece is for the students that become verified and members, the admissions and the immigration lawyer is free. So not only do you get the best results, you save about $2,000 in admissions and legal fees, as well as we generate market leading acceptances at the schools and approval rates of the study permits because the lawyer submits for you through one of our partners and so on. So if you're looking for whether you were going to apply on your own or use somebody else, I would give it a strong look. Because I think we're in a position to work with folks and help them get here in a way that makes sense.
Great. Immigration lawyer submitting your application for you all for free. All you have to do is to go through the Hub application process. And if you get vetted as one of the students, you should count yourself lucky because your application will receive a top service or look there. All right, Matt, let's talk about the kind of person or applicants that face into the Hub profile. Who is the ideal candidate who can actually come through Hub for the service?
Yeah, and we get a lot of questions about this and comments about if your profile wasn't verified or what happened. So basically, I want to make a couple of things really clear. Most of the people we talk with are extremely capable, smart, and your dream is valid, okay? Basically, we only have so many spots in the coaching program, and we have to be very strict against what it is specifically that the government is looking for. Most people would be able to get into the school and be at the top of that class and do a really great job in that degree. But it's the Canadian government that issues the study permit. So we have to operate within their parameters of what they're looking for, right? And so basically, the ideal student is based on what it is that the government wants, because we don't want to lead you through a process where you submit applications and there's fees involved with that, or you submit for a study permit and you were never probably going to make it all the way through. That's, disingenuous, and it can be a waste of your energy and your resources. So what we've done is try to define what it is sort of the right fit with what the government needs right now. And it's sort of always changing. So we look at it as who is most likely to get the conditional letter of acceptance, the letter of acceptance, and the study permit. So the ideal person right now, and if this sounds like you'll be able to fly through the verification process with us. You're likely targeting a master's level program, or you want to do healthcare, nursing, personal support work, or trades is kind of the program you're interested in, irregardless of school. You're easily going to be able to pay the fees to apply. Sometimes we get them waived, and these fees do not go to help, but it can be about 200 Canadian dollars to submit 2 applications to the schools. That's generally what we do. So you're okay to do that. And once you get accepted, you get a conditional letter of acceptance. So at that point, probably it's been about $200 and maybe 4 or 5 days of working with us. The next step is to pay a tuition deposit, okay? The schools, in order to give you a letter of acceptance, require a tuition deposit. It's a small chunk of what the overall tuition is. It can be between 1,000 to 3,000 Canadian dollars. It's 100% refundable, but you need to be able to pay this either through yourself or a sponsor, wire transfer, Flywire, whatever. You'll be set up, and that amount of money, you're serious enough about the process that that's okay. Once you pay the deposit, you'll get a letter of acceptance. Your coach will call you, you'll celebrate. The letter of acceptance is what we then will take if you're going for a master's program, nursing or skilled trades, to apply for your study permit. The study permit, once again, normally this process would cost you $2,000 or so with a lawyer. With help, it's free. You'll get somebody that's going to help you with the statement of purpose, with all of the different forms and the medical evaluations and the different things with your acceptance letter. We're going to bundle it all up, review it, and then we're going to submit it to the government. That process, the government fee is about $180. So you're also able to pay that. So at this point, you've paid $200 to submit applications. You've made a tuition deposit that's refundable and $180 for the study permit. And we're waiting to see. And then once the study permit comes back and is approved, we're able to move forward with the school. So that is a realistic view of what it takes to get there. Now, what makes you most likely to get the study permit is that you're able to show proof of funds of $35,000. So that's a pretty big, and it's generally can be a little higher or a little lower depending on your program. But we want to be very clear. Proof of funds doesn't mean you need to use that money to pay for anything. The government's biggest criteria is this student going to be able to afford their degree if they get in a pinch and they need to, right? So you have to have a bank account or bank statements of yourself or a sponsor that shows that you have that. And about 20,000 of it is cost of living and 15,000 of it is attributed to the tuition. The government just won't accept people that aren't able to show that. So that's why we ask you that when you're signing up, because it has nothing to do with whether or not you'd be a successful student in the school. You probably would be. It's just the government is very strict, and I don't want to set you up for failure in a process if it's unable to do. Once you show that proof of funds and you get the study permit, there are other ways to finance your degree through a sponsor or through loans or by working, and the tuitions can be paid in installments to the schools. You never need to use that money if you don't want to pay upfront or anything like that, right? But if you're worried about the cost to apply for a study permit, or like booking the plane tickets or anything like that, I would take a real look at understanding properly, that there are costs to this, right? And so that's kind of what we're thinking. And then the last piece is, generally, the government is pretty strict about the study gap. A lot of students come to us and they're financially qualified and they're great and they'll get into the schools, but maybe you graduated like 10, 12 years ago. We in some cases can move forward, but just know that it's a risk. The way the government and the study permit folks look at that is like the longer the gap, maybe the more they're inclined to be using this for immigration, not education. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. From the lawyers we've spoken to, generally, the longer the study gap, the lower the success rate can be. Doesn't mean it's impossible. It doesn't mean not to try. That's why we ask that and sometimes why we make that decision. So overall, master's level or healthcare or skill trades, you're able to pay for the fees that I mentioned. You can show $35,000 of proof of funds, and the study gap isn't, maybe so far above 7 to 10 years. That's a very, very strong candidate. And when you're going through the HALP verification process, when you're able to show English transcripts and the passport and these types of things, you'll move through a lot faster. And I want to be very clear. For people that maybe their profile doesn't qualify, or we send you an email saying this isn't the right time, it's not because you shouldn't go forward. It's not that your dream is done. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't be a great student at that school. It just means that based on what the government told us, it's not the best fit for us right now. You can still apply on your own, and there's other ways to go, but we're just trying to give you the advice from what we see. And I want to be clear, because it's not about is the person strong and serious and able to do it. It's purely about, will the government process the application? And that's what we're trying to pattern match against, so that you don't spend all those fees and a whole bunch of time and you were never set up for success. So I just want to make that clear, because we do get a lot of messages about I didn't qualify or I didn't get verified or that type of thing. We're not like the authority on everything. That's just for our system. But we're trying to work in your best interest, is what it is overall.
Beautiful. What is the minimum age or the max age that somebody should fall in order to go through the screening successfully for HAP?
Yeah, like it's interesting. Like, and by the way, it's not like binary, like guaranteed or not guaranteed. Like we've had students that, you know, are in sort of their mid to late 30s that have made it through the process before. Generally, though, you graduated either from high school or college like within 5 or 6 years. So whatever that age puts you at from your last degree. It's the study gap, right? Like if someone's working and earning money for a long time and then randomly want to go back and do a program, the government might just look at that in a weird way. It's not so much like this age good, this age not so good. It's, you know, if you graduated 15 years ago and you're looking to get a study permit with a spouse, like it looks a little bit maybe sketchier to them. And I don't know, I can't speak for the IRCC. We've just submitted so many applications that we start to see trends. Okay, so this is definitely not government advice or legal advice. It's just here's what we are seeing based on what applications have been successful in the past, right? And that's another good one for like talking to the coaches and the immigration lawyers when you get matched to them. They're way better to answer those questions than I am. We just see trends.
Great. Give me a moment to just chat with my people here.
Absolutely.
So I beg you, if you watch this video, yeah, I don't want to make you hit the subscribe button to subscribe so that when there are future updates, you go see them. Hit the like button so that others can know that there is a conversation like this. Right now, majority of you out there are looking for more information about a new policy. I hope you take your notes from this conversation and begin taking steps as well. We are the beg, waiting Matt talk be say, for you, HAP is ready to help you to get your admissions into your dream schools, and even they themselves, then they go help you get immigration lawyer, submit your application, but you don't go pay anything for immigration lawyer. If you ever use immigration lawyer for Canada, go see say the immigration lawyer that they charge between $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to submit an application. This one HAP they give you all of that for free. If anything, the way you go pay self. If anything, the way you go pay, most likely is just the application fee to apply to the school. So saying now only 2 schools where HAP go apply give you, then you need roughly $200. Then make HAP take do application give you that money. You know they go HAP in there. HAP no they take any money from you. They must service be free. They take any money from you. The day they give you immigration lawyer for free, immigration lawyer will go, you know, kind of walk you through, make sure say your thing day intact. Approval rate go they likely high. You understand? They don't guarantee anything, but at least they put the best application together for you. Where I asked Mas to say, who be the ideal student in terms of the program then choice? He say right now the way things make, no, if you proof of funds day, where you know say proof of funds financially to pay your school fees and your living expenses around the 35,000 Canadian dollar. It could even be slightly up depending on the cost of your tuition or even slightly less, whichever. But if you know say the money day, either from you, your family member, or your third party sponsor, whichever one, you're good to go. The money day, we know be now where they go borrow money. You say the money day, it means say the money no be problem. Money no be problem. That one they give you. You understand that one? Number 2, some schools if they give you admission, they go tell you say make you pay tuition deposit. So small amount. It could be anything from $1,000 to $3,000. You say if HAP help you when you get admission, you for make sure say you go get the money to pay that one. No be now we HAP will help you. You will get admission and you go tell HAP say HAP I don't get $1,000 or HAP I don't have this. No, they are telling you before you start. They are going to make sure that they vet you, go through that screening to make sure say the right people where they get. So I beg this one, if you know say financially you are not there, don't even be wasting your time to waste HAP's time. The right people going through the screening. You understand? I also asked them about age requirement because some people they talk say HAP is turning us down because of age, because of that. So he clarify them where he talk say that thing, you know, be say they know they like people based on certain age or certain age, like a binary kind of thing, up or there. But it is more about you as a person, your applicant, your profile and things. If the last time you were in school was 15 years ago, where your entire family, they apply for study permit, work permit together for your spouse, then they bring the whole family. Sometimes RRCC, they look at some way. You see what I mean? So HAP, because they want to increase your chance of getting the visa, which is good for the business. They don't want to make sure say that they select the best candidates with a low risk where they go figure the thing. You see, so this one, they not be say directly, they reject people based on it, but they take so many things into account. You understand? And when they reject you, it is not to say that they will make the decision on you saying they like you. It simply means that probably you could have other options where you go choose. You understand what I mean? And Matt also mentioned some programs where right now will be the right time for you to apply. Programs in health sciences, like nursing, you know, those kind of master's programs too. They can't do master's degree, folks. I'd agree to whether course-based or thesis-based. Matt is telling you this is also the best time for you. So if you know, say they have difficulty doing all those applications, why don't you get in touch with Matt and his team at HAP, University of Ottawa? He mentioned so many Lakehead, a lot of them. They are ready. They have the guys ready to help you put your application together. All right. Now let's go back into the conversation again, Matt. From going through the screening to getting the applications together for the student and all of that, what could be the possible time frame for going through all of this? How many days should you take? I know there are some few schools where you
on average, yeah. So on average, it's about 20 days from when a student is verified to when they submit their first application. However, we've done it in the same day. If you have your documents ready, you go through verification really quickly because you have your English transcripts from your most recent schooling, your passport, you have proof of funds. You'll go through verification quickly. And if you go to the coach and say, hey, I'm interested in Yorkville, I'm interested in Trent, I'm interested in Laurentian, we can submit the application really quickly, right? And get a fast response. It's usually up to the student. If you're worried about the fees or you're not sure where you want to go or there's a delay. But the schools are always open to be accepting applications. I will also add, there are some people in the chat talking about if help hasn't responded to them or I haven't heard from anybody. Check your spam in your email, check your dashboard. There's a chance that you received a communication about when you're going to get a response or when is the best time to re-engage with our team and you just didn't see it. Because the other thing that's important is not a live chat. So when you sign up and you ask a question in different things, because we're in Canada, our team comes on and they'll respond to you usually within 24 hours. If you've been qualified and you're in the verification process, just be patient in that whole piece. But no one is not getting, like I know because we set it up, everyone gets emails all the time. And then once you're through them with verification, the coach can talk to you every day. So it's if you haven't heard from us, check spam emails. See if you deleted something by accident. But I want to make sure everybody will know whether or not they were qualified or verified through. And if you are verified, the coach, then you get matched with the coach and you have your personalized process starting, right? That doesn't need to take a long time. If you're ready to go or you're a student that's in Canada and you're maybe in your second semester and you want to switch, we can start right away. So it shouldn't be a huge delay.
Great. If there is anything I got from what he said right now, 3 Ps. One, know that it's a process. Know that it's a process, right? That's the first thing. The whole thing is a process. It starts with something. You got to get yourself in the application there. That's the first piece. Secondly, you got to also be patient. Be patient. It could take about 24 hours for them to get time difference. You are in a different time zone probably. And even in Canada, we have different time zones too. So just have patience so that you don't expect too much from them within every minute now and then, right? Just have patience with the coaches as they work through the volume of applications to serve everybody positively.
Yeah. And sometimes like if you have a question and the coach is working on something for you, whatever, just write it in the thing. They might not respond right away, but we don't use bots or AI or anything. It's a real person. So they'll get back to it as soon as they possibly can. But I think I appreciate you saying that, Shortcore, because that's really what the situation is.
Thank you. So it's a process. Be patient. And the last one, be proactive too, right? Check the dashboard. So sometimes there's an update on the dashboard, but you're hoping that your coach will be the one to kind of bring you the update. So keep an eye on that dashboard, your student portal with HAP. Check on it. If there is an update, they will actually be updating that for you to see as well. All right. Let's go to the next question. I think we've already responded to Derek Flakes Boltier, who a few people had questions about the no response and all of that. I think you've already addressed that. Now I want us to go through the verification process. what does it look like? What should people
Yeah.
expect when they go through the HAP verification process, from
Yeah.
admission to enrollment and then the visas and all that?
Absolutely. And I know some of you, some people have gone through this, some people haven't. So when you sign up for help, it's free. You're just going to make a username and a password. Then you're going to get to the dashboard. The first thing you're going to be able to do is the intake questionnaire. So this is where we ask a whole bunch of stuff about you that we're trying to match with what the government and the schools wants to see if it's a good fit. That's when you will either become qualified or not qualified. If you're not qualified, we're going to send you a reason why, and you can adjust it, or it just means you can go on, apply on your own or save up a little more money, whatever. It's not the end of the world, and it's not to say that you're not good. It just means right now it's not the right fit for help. For people that are qualified, you then go into verification. This is where we have to check on your documents and talk to you to understand what it is you're looking to do, what your motivations are, and that the documents are real and also meet the criteria of the schools. So that's having your English translated transcripts from your most recent, whether that's high school or college, having that ready, a picture of the passport, and then proof of funds is not mandatory, but if you show it, it brings you to the top of the list. Like if you have a screenshot of a bank account that meets the cost of living and tuition requirements, that's really great, and we'll move you through. At that point, you can either book a call or choose to be texted by our verification team. So a lot of people, when they're in verification, think they've already got assigned a coach. That's actually the people that are reaching out that you can talk to them on the phone like this. You can text with them, but they're going to want to understand, what are you looking to do? What are your interests? Do you have a specific school in mind? Different things, just trying to get a sense of, fit. And if we are the right, people to be working with you. Once that goes well, your dashboard will become unlocked. You'll start to get recommended programs, or you might already have the programs you want to go to. But at that point, the coach will reach out to you and you'll get a message saying, hey, it's me, Abby, or Josh, or Mwilla, or Namka. We have a whole bunch of coaches who are located in Canada that know the schools that are going to then guide you through the process. So if you have that stuff ready and you understand the financial parts that I said before about the application costs, the visa application costs, the tuition deposit, we can work really quickly on that.
Great. Matt, I like us to address some of the frequently asked questions in my community related to HAP. So there are a lot of folks from English-speaking countries that are clearly like exempted from language proficiency, but they do see on the application for HAP, they have to show proof of language proficiency. What is the best way to answer that question during the application, if I'm from a country like Ghana, which is exempted from English?
There are only like select few schools that require for Nigeria and Ghana and English speaking West African countries that have to actually show the IELTS or English or Duolingo or whatever it is. We're changing it so that you, hopefully, if you choose the country you're currently in as either Nigeria or Ghana or whatever ones don't need it, or Canada, you're already here, that you won't be asked that question. We've also had issues. So hopefully it shouldn't be surfaced if it's not relevant. If not, just say like, yes, I meet the requirement, or like whatever, because once you start talking with the verification team, they'll realize, oh, like you don't even need the IELTS document because it doesn't matter for the visa you're going for and for the school and the program. So hopefully shortly it won't be surfaced for countries that it doesn't require. It's just sometimes even if the country doesn't require it, the school might, right? So we will just try to figure that out. So if you list a school that requires IELTS, regardless of what country you're from, we'll ask if you have it, right? The safe bet is to just sort of say, if you think it came up and it shouldn't have, just say I meet the requirement and then move to the next stage. And then if later on we find out that's not true, we'll course correct that or figure that out.
All right. If you also already have the language test already done, feel free to say yes and you upload it.
Yeah, otherwise, because that also looks, right? It shows you're serious and that you're committed and that type of thing.
Beautiful. And with the IELTS exams, is IELTS academic, correct? Not the general, right? Or do you accept both of them, general or academic IELTS?
Sorry, say that again.
We have two types of IELTS, right? We have the academic one, and then we have the general. So
it's actually more based on what the school is required to show. I'm actually hoping, like, we're trying to make the technical changes so that if the school you're interested in doesn't need that, you shouldn't get asked that question so that nobody gets confused. But for now, just say you have what you have. and the verification team will talk you through whether or not that's a fit with the school or whether or not you even need it. So you should be able to just upload whatever it is that's there.
Okay.
You won't get penalized for that.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Another challenge that I see members of my community talk about a lot is difficulties getting their number verified for WhatsApp conversations with to get assigned to a coach, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, for instance, all right, let me use Derek Flakes. Let's say Derek Flakes is originally from Ghana. He has his WhatsApp set up to a Ghana number, but then he moved to Canada and is looking to switch from his school to a different school, and he wants help to help him. But when he's signing up, he selects Canada. So the app is kind of expecting him to pull a Canadian phone number. He puts his Ghana WhatsApp number to make it easy for him to chat. And then he's stuck there because he can't get through. What is the best way to best fix
Yeah, that's our bad. Like we'll make the technology better so that you can say a country that doesn't always link to the area code, because right now it links the two of them. What I would do is just try to get to whatever will allow you to get to verification. So like if the phone number is from Ghana and it won't let you put your phone number in if you say you're in Canada but you are in Canada, just go through that. But then when you get to like the Ghana flow, but then when you get to the verification, say, hey, I'm actually in Canada, I'm onshore, I'm looking to switch, but I don't have a Canadian phone number. I use WhatsApp and a SIM card, and so it wasn't linking. They'll then change your profile to get matched in with the coaches that help students switch or extend. Hopefully, we will also be able to make it so that you are able to enter your Ghanaian WhatsApp number by saying Canada as your source country very soon, because I know this is an issue for people that want to extend their studies or switch their studies. Worst case, and Shortcore, we can post these after. We have the contact@help.co email, so that you're able to reach out. That should also be listed on the dashboard if you're having issues. And then also, we don't coach people in the Instagram DMs, but if you DM and say, hey, this is the email I used to sign up, this is the issue I'm having, we have a team that sees that will then go and flag your profile and make the changes for you. So worst case, you can DM on the Instagram account saying, here's my specific email I used to sign up. Please and here's the problem I'm having. Please take a look at that.
All right.
Don't do like, yeah.
All right. I look forward to posting the contact for Help support so that if you have any challenges, you can send them emails. If you're also an Instagram person, you can also look for Help on Instagram and send them a DM with a screenshot of your problem, and the tech guys will go in there and then take a look at it and fix it for you. All right. Talking about great schools, quick admission processes and placement and stuff like that. This week we've been talking about one of them, Yorkville. Would you like us to just talk a little bit about that and probably tell people why Yorkville might be a good fit for them at this time?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the schools that we're doing a campaign with right now is Yorkville University. They have campuses in all across Canada, from East Coast, Toronto, Vancouver. We've had a lot of success with students really enjoying their business program. Right now, this is one that would be in the yellow light category, which is totally fine. So Yorkville, we spoke with them this morning, are accepting applications, and we're able to move forward, get the LOA, and then we'll wait to apply for the study permit when it's ready. But I think it's a great option. The campuses are right near where the jobs are. The job placement rates and the outcomes are strong. It's PGWP eligible, flexible in terms of online and on campus, flexible in terms of start date and intake. And every student that comes through Help gets a $10,000 scholarship. So to be clear, we're not going to give you a check for $10,000. It's just the tuition fee gets decreased by $10,000. Only for students for us. So if you're interested in business, and we will do our best to process those for the April or May intakes that they have. But depending on the study permit office, September will certainly be available. So that's a great option for people that are interested in. That would be like an undergraduate business, like a BBA, like a business degree that is PGWP eligible. So it's a good idea to check that one out.
Beautiful. And there's a real chance that they can also get the application fees of $100 waived if they sign up through Help, correct?
Yep. Usually they'll waive that, which is also good. And then the same thing with what we were talking about with the master's programs and the nursing programs, that those study permits and schools are open right now. sometimes we're able to get those waves, not all the time, but sometimes as well.
Great. Appreciate that. All right.
Yeah.
So at this moment, if you have some few minutes, I can take some questions. Let me know if you have the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going through right now. Guys, post your questions. If there's anything that has not been addressed, I will be looking forward to sharing your questions here, okay? So Cyril Athanko has a question. Hello, Choco or Hal. Those who apply for private colleges, should we apply to public schools now for a better chance? I definitely would say yes, because private colleges are not eligible for postgraduate work permit. Now,
yeah, well, actually, there's an important, just quickly, there's actually an important distinction. So private colleges are not all PPPs. So like, for example, Yorkville University is a private college, but it's PGWP eligible because it is a degree granting learning institution.
Beautiful.
So if you've applied for a private college that's like a career college, that's great. Those are, you might fall under the cap depending on what the program is, but you'll still be, just ask whoever it is you worked with if it's PGWP eligible. The only ones that are for sure no longer PGWP eligible are the licensed agreements, the PPP schools. Those are the subsidiaries of the public colleges, right? So the public colleges have satellite campuses that are under different brand names where they've licensed their curriculum. Those ones no longer get post-grad work permit. So the important thing is, if you've received an LOA and you have an email contact for the school, if it's through HELP, ask your coach. We know all the ones that they are. If you didn't go through HELP, whoever sent you that the LOA or the conditional letter of acceptance, respond and say, is the specific campus I'm going to eligible for post-grad work permit, right? Because your LOA might say whatever the school is, but you might be going to a campus that is PPP. And if you do that right now, and they might fight it and who knows what happens, but right now PGWP is gone for those. So not all privates have lost their PGWP, just the satellite licensed ones. That's what makes it all so confusing. So just make sure you ask, and before you go forward, just get very clear written email responses from people that say, yes, this is post-grad work permit approved. Yes, you should still go forward with your study permit, so that you have a receipt that you can go to them and say, you lied to me, like give me a refund if it's not true.
Thank you, Matt. Nicholas Akako has a question on the screen. Please ask him if postgraduate diploma programs are affected by the new policy.
Yeah, so postgraduate diplomas fall under the cap unless they are in nursing or skilled trades. So postgrad diplomas are still, those are open. They're still PGWP eligible. It's just those are the programs right now that the study permits have been paused until they figure out a process in sort of 2 or 3 weeks here to get you a new form that you need to apply for the visa. So here's how I would think about postgraduate diplomas or certificates, right? Apply for the school. The schools are open. The schools are still accepting students, right? Once you pay your tuition deposit and you get your letter of acceptance, you'll just wait. And then once the attest, and it might for a week or two, probably maybe a little bit more if you are applying right now. And then it's okay, now I know how to get the attestation form, which we will help our students do that. And then you can apply for the study permit. So it's not that post-grad diplomas or certificates for business or project management or whatever, IT, those aren't going away. The PGWP is not going away. It's just, those are the ones that we need the provinces to set up the process so that you can go for the study permit. So that's the yellow light category.
Great. You mind taking the next question on the screen, Matt?
Yes. The question is, can help you apply for a study permit if you have admission and scholarship already? So unfortunately, if you don't apply through us, we can't offer the rest of the services. So the way that it works is the student has to submit and get the LOA through HELP in order to then use our lawyers to process that study permit. You got to go with us the whole way. Now, if you're willing to reapply to a different school or the same school through us, we can move it through, but I can't guarantee that you'd get the same scholarship or that type of thing. But if you want the free immigration lawyer, it's important to submit your application and pay your tuition deposit through HELP.
All right. I think a lot of the questions coming through are related to, I already have my admission, I've already submitted maybe my study permit application. Is there any chance I can still use? Unfortunately, no. They have to be the ones to help you secure.
Yeah. And if you've submitted an application and you're waiting to hear back from a school, or you've heard from a school and you're not 100% like, I really want to go there, we'll help you figure out the best fit, and then you can just go through us. It doesn't, just because you've already submitted one doesn't mean you can't use us. But if you're committed and you want to apply to a different school and you accept that offer, then you work with us the whole way.
And I imagine that'll be the same response you give Sandra Gertrude Ashon too, right? She's on a wait list in a different school, and she can.
Which means that we could find a school where you won't be on a wait list, or we can, try to work with that school to get that through, in which case you'd make a tuition deposit, get the letter of acceptance. And if it's a master's program or nursing or skilled trades, we can apply for the visa right away.
Great. Matt, thank you so much for clarifying a lot of things, including the distinction between private colleges that are degree awarding or licensed to run degree programs and the career colleges, or those ones that are just PPPs and all of that. Thank you for clarifying that. I think a lot of people need that. I definitely needed that myself. So I appreciate it. Now, guys, this is Matt for you. Matt is the CEO of HAP. HAP has already helped so many of our members of the community here to actually advance to different stages of their journey to Canada. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you have the time to just give us an overview how the journey has been since the last time, but if you want us to do that in another conversation too, we can do that.
Yeah, I'll actually, if we want to do another conversation, if we get updates, especially from the government next week or something, I can come back with all the stats. I know we've had hundreds of students from the last video that were already in Canada, or who are in Ghana, Nigeria, other countries that are submitting applications right now with us. I also know there are a lot of people that are a little bit frustrated with wait times of people getting back. We are working hard to process through that, and I'm really sorry. Please keep sending your questions or your voice notes. We will get to you, and we're really humbled by your interest, and we'll do a better job to get to more people more quickly.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Myself here, Choco Millionaire, and Matt, the CEO of HAP. If you did enjoy this video, drop your comments, subscribe. Make sure you're also hitting the like button there. And somebody from HAP will be keeping an eye there and to respond to some of your questions that will even come after this video. Do have a good day. See you another time. Stay blessed. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.